Okay, so Rachel has a 4-point bustle. When I say that, that means there are going to be 4 points in the skirt that are brought up. Right now you're going to notice that I have a little safety pin down here. This will not be here on the wedding day. I'm actually going to tack these layers together with a piece of thread. You can see where I had originally cut that. So when it's time to do the bustle, you're actually going to come under here with a pair of scissors and clip the thread that is holding the tulle to the satin layers. So we're going to pretend I just clipped that. So clip and done. Normally a bride would be in the dress, and so you can hand these layers to her while you're taking care of the under bustle, but instead we're just going to kind of flip that under. So you're going to lift up the back of the train here just down the center seam. The first thing you're going to see is this ribbon loop. This is a hanger. This is not part of the bustle. This hangs the train when she's not wearing it. So keep going, and you're going to notice a set of blue ribbons, and we actually have another set a little higher. Cool thing about this dress is there is another layer here, so don't worry about exposing any part of the bride. You can do this anywhere and she'll be fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie these ribbons together. We want the bases of the ribbons to get as close as we can without trapping any fabric in between. So you'll kind of push that fabric away, and then we're just gonna tie this into a bow. You are more than welcome to tie it into a knot if you want, but a bow is really sufficient with these. These ribbons are grippy. So just tying this into a bow, pull that nice and tight, and that gets that layer up where she wanted it. All right, so now we have these outer layers, and we are going to have 3 sets of ribbon loops from the skirt that we're going to pull out, and then we have 3 sets of ribbon strings. So let's start with pulling these strings out. So if you come here at the very center on each side of the zipper, you're going to see these little ribbons. There's a little knot on them. Try to make it so you can find it, and we're just going to pull these out. Now all of these bustle points have a backer button there, so when that button hits this, the ribbon's not going to rip through the fabric, so everything's nice and secure and strong. So this is for our center point. If you go over about 3.5 inches, there's another set of ribbons, and then again the opposite direction. So 3 sets of ribbon strings. Now we're going to pull out our loops. So depending on the light, you might have an easier time. Sometimes you can just look under and see where those little ribbons are. So there's going to be one just below those ribbons, one below those, and one below here. If you have a hard time, you are more than welcome to go underneath. Again, there's my little button and the ribbon. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to start on the outside and then work my way in. So I'm going over here to the left side. I'm just going to gently hold on to that. And then on the outside, that ribbon just kind of peeks out here over that seam. So you want to be gentle, not pulling on the tulle, but grabbing just the ribbon, and there's a little loop. Okay, we're going to take this loop and grab one of the strings that are above it and just put it through. And then we're going to lift this loop up as high as that will go. We don't want to tie this and have it droop because then it will be too long. So we're just going to go ahead and bring this up. And again, these are pretty grippy, so just a bow is really sufficient. If you want, you are more than welcome to tie it into a knot though. I do like to make my loops and strings about the same length. I will show you how to disappear those in just a minute. Okay. So we're going to go all the way over here to our farthest to the right point. And again, these are just over a seam, and that ribbon is going to be right on that. You can look underneath, but I'm able to see this really easily right here. So right there on top of that seam, that ribbon is hanging out. So just pulling that out there and do the same thing. If you feel like you can have someone hold the weight of this. These outer layers are pretty lightweight, so they go up pretty easily there. Just make sure you're bringing it up as high as it can go. That way it's not dripping down. Okay, so there's that one. Our last one is going to be along the center seam where the buttons are. And again, it's right there. So right on the opposite side. This one's actually going to be in between this jewel cluster and this button there. There's that little ribbon coming across. So this one is the only bustle point that affects the bride getting out of the dress, since it's going over the zipper. So if you tie this into a knot, you're going to end up needing to clip this point down before she can get out of the dress. Otherwise, if you tie it into a bow, she'll be fine to just untie it and get out that way. But you will need to take this point down for her to get out of the dress. Okay, so now that we have all of these ribbons everywhere, they really kind of disappear, but I'm going to send her home with a crochet hook. So it'll be in this little bag hanging in her bag. And what you'll do, I'm just going to demonstrate this on one point, but you'll do this on all three, is you'll take the ribbons and kind of twist them together. Take your crochet hook from behind through the loop, grab the ribbons and pull them backwards. There we go. So instead of hanging out in front, they just kind of drape behind. Last thing that you're going to do as the bride walks around and does, just these points will just kind of do whatever they want. But if you're going to get a picture that displays them at all, you're going to come through, grab that center, just like when the train is down, and let that drape in front. You can kind of tuck any unruly tool behind wherever it goes. But there is her 4-point bustle.